Hello, here we have Miss Maggie. She's a miniature Aussie Doodle, and she does live on a farm. She hasn't been in since last July, and it is now the first day of April, so she is quite overdue. I typically require all my dogs to stay on a 3-month schedule or less, but stuff happens sometimes. So how I start off is I take them straight to the tub and I bathe them, and I use water pressure to help me deshed them some, and then I use the high velocity dryer to help me blast the matting away from the skin some. I don't want them to be dripping wet while I'm wet shaving, so that's why I do towel dry and I do use the high velocity dryer some on them. It also just helps get the matting off the skin more so it's easier to shave. Once I start shaving, I will try starting with a longer blade, and I switch to lower if I needed. I'm starting her with a 7F, it's a wide blade. I always start at the back of the neck, and I work my way down. It looks like I'm doing really short strokes. It's because anytime I feel resistance, I stop that stroke and go to a new area. I will not force my clippers through the hair, force the blade through the hair. I'll just take my time and work my way through it. I am going to speed it up a little bit, but I had her completely bathed, the quick drying, and then wet shaved in about 35 minutes. And then I just had to finish drying her, and then I was able to finish up her groom. So then I just had to re-dry her and then go over her again. But as you can see, I just slowly work my way down her body. Obviously it looks like I'm going faster because I have it sped up some, and anytime I feel resistance with the clippers, I stop down that track and start a new track, and I just work my way through her coat. I always try to hold the skin taut while I'm shaving, and I don't really hold on to the hair to pull it away from the skin. I mean, sometimes you might see me holding the hair, but that's just to hold it out of the way more so. So the reason I like wet shaving is because how much easier I can see what I'm doing. So with the bath and the quick dry, I'm getting the coat off the skin more, and now I can really see where all the matting is. I can see her skin. I just feel like I can see what I'm doing so much better. Another huge bonus is, because the dog is wet, it actually keeps my blades cooler. And since the dog is clean, I don't have to worry about the dirt dulling my blades or ruining my blades. So I'm able to do her entire body with just 2 blades, a 7F blade and a 10 blade. And you'll see that I leave some stuff sticking out while I'm working with the 7 blade, and I do that because for me, I feel it would be safer to switch to my 10 blade, and that's what I just did there. I switched to the 10 blade so I could go over the ears, get that matting off, and I'm just carefully working it down around the ears. Another huge plus to wet shaving I've found is when I wet shave matted ears, I don't think I've had a single dog get a hematoma since I've started doing it like that, because I'm able to do it slower, and it's not taking all the weight away right at once, so the blood doesn't rush back to the ear. But I'm using the 10 blade now to do all the sensitive areas and anywhere I didn't feel was safe to try and go through with the 7. Another small added bonus to wet shaving, which isn't necessarily the reason I do it, it's just an added bonus, is typically you're able to leave the coat a little bit longer because the hair is more so stretched out while you're shaving. So even though I went over her with a 7F and now I'm using the 10 still, I'm able to finish her with a 5F, which yes is still short, but it's not finishing her with a 10. And I was able to get her done so much faster than I would have. And there you can just see all the matting. So this is the most important step after you wet shave for your tools. I take my only 2 blades that I use and I make sure I dry them off very well. Get all the water, get all the wet hair out of there. Just really blast them out, and then I do blast my clippers out. I try to make sure I'm not blowing into the clippers more so, but blowing away. And then I just proceed to oil my blades. I slide the cutter out, brush out anything that might still be in there. Showing you my blade is proof of how good it looked. And just add my oil and all my points of contact. Do the same thing with the other blade. But like I said, I only literally had to use 2 blades to get through all that matted coat. A 7 and a 10. So this is what she looks like after she's dried. You can see there's still a little fluff. Yes, she's super uneven. That's okay. And here she is all done. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and it helps you.